/ mini review of my Ford Fiesta ST 2015. So we'll start off going over some brief specs. 197 brake horsepower, top speed of 139, even though it feels like it'll do more. 0 to 60 in 6.9. Now this particular ST is my ST2, and I have done a slight modification to the intake, so it should be pushing it slightly above the 200 mark, which is nice. Handling is very good. It has got sport suspension, which at times can feel a little bit hard if you're going over something particularly bumpy, but in general you don't really notice it. You know, I'm not juddering around here driving through the town, but obviously the sport suspension helps with cornering. I want to be over here. The steering is electronic assisted power steering, so you're not physically connected to your steering column, and to be honest, you don't really notice. It's very, very direct, and it feels really good. So I just whack it around there. It's not too light, it's not too heavy, and it sort of feels like it's lighter whenever you want it to be lighter, and it is heavier when you want it to be heavier. Kind of like it's recognizing what your driving situation is and just helping you out, just giving you exactly what you want when you want it. One cool feature we get is torque vectoring. Now, torque vectoring is this wizardry that the computer does, whereby it calculates like 30 times a second how much of the power to send to either wheel. So when you're going around a corner, instead of hitting the pitfall that you might normally get when sending a lot of power to a front wheel car, which is understeer, it's feathering the power so that you can just get round that corner a lot faster without having to worry about understeering into the tree or wall or child in front of you. Initially, you're perhaps a little tentative because you're in a front-wheel drive car. You might not be used to it, but when you actually start using it, you can just chuck it round the corner. Hey, at speed. big smile on your face. So the interior of the car, you do get some premium materials, certainly more than what you would get over a standard Fiesta. You get some nice bits of aluminium here, nice little bits of aluminium on these buttons, nice quality leathery steering wheel with aluminium bits, aluminium ST logo, aluminium bits with also leather in the gear knob. The gator is leather with aluminium, same with the handbrake, leather and aluminium. You do get some plastic bits, of course it's not exactly a Rolls Royce or whatever, but in this price point, it's pretty nice. Possibly the best part of the interior is the seats. Made by Recaro in the ST2 and ST3. This is the ST2, you get partial leather, and they just hug you in all the right places, down here, up here. They support you whenever you're driving aggressively, shall we say, but then if you're driving just like a granny, then they're just nice and comfortable. So it's best of both worlds. Infotainment system is made by Sony. The sound is pretty decent. You get a nice wee colour screen with information on it. You go through the menus, do all kinds of whatever. Can be a wee bit fiddly to navigate, but it's not that hard. You get plenty of gadgets like your hands-free Bluetooth. It'll read your texts out. In the ST3 you get things like climate control, cruise control, and then there's this button down here, ESC off, or in other words traction control off. Now if you accelerate mega hard, there's a fair chance you're going to spin the wheels even with that on, so turning that off you need to be pretty adventurous. But interestingly, if you go into the menus, there's actually a third option which is properly off, because when you press that it goes into sport mode, which I'm assuming is half off or kind of off. But if you go in, you can actually turn it fully off, which is probably suicidal mode. But if you're wise, you probably should leave it on. The sound that the car makes is quite nice. When you're outside you get a nice little exhaust note from the rear. From the front, especially with the small changes I've done to the intake, you get some nice turbo spooling noise and blow-off valve sounds when changing gears. And in the cabin, when you're driving along, there's a thing in there called a sound composer, which feeds some of the noise from under the bonnet into the cabin, and that's cool. Some people aren't so into it because they think it's unnatural sounding, but I think it's kind of fun. When you're driving really slowly, you don't really get it so much. It's really only whenever the turbo is really spinning that you get the sound, because it's connected to one of the lines from the turbo. Don't know if you can hear that on there, but that's kind of what it sounds like. At the price point that this car sits at, you're getting a lot for your money. You're getting plenty of power, you get comfort, quality seats, and the main thing is you just have a lot of fun driving it. Even what we're doing today, which is just driving through the town, going from red light to red light, it puts a smile on your face. You just have a lot of fun just accelerating up and then slowing down. Accelerating up, slowing down. You don't need to be on a racetrack, or you don't need to be... You even need to be going particularly fast to have a lot of crack in this car. But not here, because there's a fixed speed camera. One interesting phrase that I've read is that you get more smiles per mile in one of these Fiesta STs than any other hot hatch, which I think is probably accurate, and certainly probably, I would say, the most bang for your buck in any range of hot hatch. So one of the issues that people have with the new Focus RS is that the boot space is kind of limited, but that's not so much of a big deal in the Fiesta, because as you can see, you can easily fit your wife and have plenty more space for crap that she buys. Scared that guy. So there it is. If you liked the review, give it a thumbs up, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers. Bye.